Well, the pent-up pressure on Northern Ireland's politicians to start improving those public services is high. Political life, not to say everyday life, for nearly 2 million people has been in a holding pattern for nearly 2 years. It's now up to Assembly members to deliver on key issues like health, education and childcare.
So this particular area, as you can see from most of the corners, there are a lot of leaks happening there.
At this school in West Belfast, the effect of 2 years with no functioning government is written into the fabric of the building.
We've had our pay being eroded away at the same rate that our buildings are eroding away.
What was our first word, Dave?
The school, in need of bigger classrooms as well as repairs before Stormont collapsed, has seen no investment in the intervening years, and teachers across Northern Ireland have had no new pay settlement.
Is it hoping for too much that a new government here can really make a difference?
It may be hoping for too much, but certainly without it, I see no improvement. So I'm hopeful that there will be some improvement. It might not be the answer to everything that we need.
With no government here, it's civil servants who've been left to run things without the ability to make decisions on pay or policy. And the effect has been felt in schools and public services across the board.
This GP says the consequences for patients have been devastating.
A lot of services collapsing, a lot of patients in pain and suffering and late diagnosis. I can't persuade a lot of my older patients to go near hospital because they say, I'll not even be in a trolley and casualty, I'll be in a chair. That's dreadful, and that's where we are now at the moment, just a death spiral of the NHS.
Christine Campbell is one of those counting the cost of late diagnosis. She waited 5 months to see a GP before finding out her symptoms, a cancer.
I feel that those who are vulnerable have been put at risk through a lack of sitting executive.
And do you feel that if your cancer had been diagnosed earlier, that you would have had a different outcome?
I would like to say yes, but I can't say for certain. Sorry.
It's different.
I can't say for certain that the outcome would be different, but I would like to think so.
Even nurseries have felt the effects with no new childcare plan and without the promise of more free hours given to England.
Families and providers in Northern Ireland are feeling very left behind. What they've seen is record investment in England and in Ireland into childcare in recognition of just how important it is as infrastructure, and they're seeing none of the benefits of that here in Northern Ireland.
After such a damaging hiatus, politicians have a lot of catching up to do, this generation counting on some political stability. Romilly Weeks, News at 10, Belfast.
And Carl joins me now. Carl, first of all, any reaction from the EU, where I bet this deal has been closely watched? And secondly, and more importantly, the deal's been agreed, but could anything derail it?
Yeah, the EU have been pretty muted on this so far, actually, and officials here expect that to stay the case because they believe that this deal merely changes the domestic operation of the Windsor framework agreed with the EU and not actually the text of it itself. Jeffrey Donaldson, on the other hand, has been arguing that the text has been changed, but I think that is partly because he's trying to give this a hard sell. All week he has been managing his party very carefully. He's got them into a position where they have actually supported this deal without having seen the text of it. And I think the momentum that has created will now carry us through to the restoration of Stormont, probably over the weekend. The danger for Sir Geoffrey is that a bit further down the line, once his party members have had time to study this more carefully, that some of them may feel they've been brought back and given up their main negotiating position on a false prospectus. But for the time being, they're with him. I mean, in that regard, it might help him if the EU did complain just a little bit. But for the time being, this has got over the line and it looks like it is bringing Stormont back.
And a big moment for Stormont. Carl, thank you very much indeed.